hello, friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
Thinking world flat. I'm with the Island Girls in celebration of new religion. Nobody led me or said this way. I sailed alone on makeshift raft with wind as companion. Faith for deliverance, confidence enough to assess new disposition. The seekers of lost paradise may seem fools to those who never sought the other world. Welcome to Momentary Zen with Zen Garcia. Visit www.fallenangels.tv. You're listening to Revolution Radio.
Hello and welcome, everybody. And thank you always for taking the time to be here with me in fellowship and to listen to the odd and sometimes strange things that I talk about and claim. And I'm just, grateful for the privilege of having your attention and being able to share with you the weirdness of the things that I've learned about this reality and the place that we find ourselves in, and how much we have been lied to, and how much we accept propaganda as the truth. And it's for many of you that are now seeking and looking and having to come to terms with the reality of the New World Order and what is the prophetic scenario of the end from the beginning being revealed in the scriptures and how things have been written down. And many of you are being pulled in multiple directions in trying to understand and make sense of the world and our predicament and those things that we find happening all around us. And these are challenging times, and the scriptures also speak about that, which is why those of you that do begin to and have examined the biblical word and the canonical material and the things that have been passed down by the prophets that have been gathered and we have inherited as legacy all of those teachings, even coming through the flood on board the ark and passed down to the generations and the renewing, the replenishment of the earth, Noah and his children, and how all the nations of the world were repeopled and regathered. And certainly the giants were also present, which is another very odd piece of knowledge to wrap your mind around, that there were giants in the earth in those days and even before. And if you are new to the scriptures and just reading, if you begin with the Old Testament and just reading through Genesis, and when getting to Genesis 6 and reading the passage about these sons of God, mating with the daughters of man, creating a race of giants, descending the story of Revelation Genesis 12 and the war of the angels, and how Michael and how Satan, that mating with the daughters of man, creating dragon, a race of giants, being cast out of the heavens. There was war. A third of the angels followed him, joined him in his insurgency. And this is the truth of the matter as it has led to our present situation and predicament. And as Paul said in Ephesians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but powers, principalities, rulers of darkness and wickedness in high places. And so, if you are new to the study of prophecy, the examination of the ancient mysteries, and the oral traditions held by people worldwide, I know how overwhelming it is to glean and find truth and make sense of the riddle that is all of the various ways of thinking, the different religious and spiritual beliefs of people worldwide, and why certain cultures, certain civilizations, certain people groups, why it is that they worship multiple gods, a pantheon of gods and goddesses, and how it is that the symbol of the serpent, the dragon, how this universal motive had from ancient times been passed down. The oldest cultures, civilizations, China, Egypt, others, Japan, uh, even here in America, ancient America, the Hopi, and um, there are connections to what are the hybrid demigods of old. These beings that were reptilian in nature and characteristic. And of course, for people that are have never heard of these things, this sounds just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure even with what I just said in the last few minutes, for people that may be tuning in on regular radio or AM, FM, because Revolution Radio is carried in channels that way, as well as Truth Frequency, or it had been, um, that they probably just turned it off, cut it off, and went to some other political talk show, and they're all caught up in the right and the left and get hyped up over, support of the Democratic or Republican agenda. And most people have no idea that they have been brainwashed into supporting what is a false left right paradigm. And so we here on this channel, and also our ministry, we try to bring you truth so that you can make sense of and understand better not only the prophetic word, which of course our foundation is the gospel, the good news of salvation through Christ, and how he was the Passover lamb that shed his blood in order to bring forgiveness to all of us and to extend eternal life, the gift of salvation, which was given even to the fallen angels prior to iniquity being found within Samael, and their banishment and their placement under the authority of death, that they will die the death of man, that they will be annihilated at the end of the age with the second death. And so it's important that people come to understand, come to knowledge on the things that we're talking about. Because literally, not only is your life at risk, and that whether you know it or not, you are involved in a war. And God willing, those of you that wake up. You are on the side of the saints, and that you are part of what in the Dead Sea Scrolls it speaks about the war of the sons of light with the sons of darkness. Well, this evening we're going to talk about the origins of that war and the deception that is being brewed and put forth right now, that the fallen angels, the Annunaki, those who from the heavens to earth came, how it is that they are those powers, the principalities, the rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. And so our goal is to give you discernment, to share the truth so that you can take it before the Most High and ask for confirmation, to ask for discernment. And we just want to be and help assist in that awakening for all of you. Because long ago, I, my children, my family, we were blessed by the Most High and given the gift of knowledge and wisdom in that regard. And it wasn't without effort. I have dedicated my life since early teenage adulthood to seeking the truth. The motto for our channel comes from one of my most favorite poems, which is the Paris Journal that was written by Jim Morrison a long time ago. And this one particular passage speaks about the seekers of lost paradise and how they would seem by the world to be fools. The seekers of lost paradise may seem to be fools to those that have never sought the other worlds. It's the opening for this show, um, and part of a poem that I wrote as well, um, and is part of a collection I'm also going to try to release at some point very soon. My hope now that I am feeling better is to be productive and to publish my memoirs in poetry and prose that I've written over the years, and that also cover my awakening to so many what are, for whatever reason, difficult to grasp truths. And so, also wanted to inform you that Lisa's internet went out, and so she's not going to be with us for the first portion and duration, but she's going to try to tune in after a 30-minute segment or whenever her internet is restored. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to open up the chat. All right. The War Scrolls, Mindy is asking in the chat room, the War Scrolls are a part of the Dead Sea Scroll collection. It is called the war of the sons of light with the sons of darkness. And I cover and talk about excuse me, my voice is going out. But anyways, I talk about this in my book, The Vestures of Light and the Rod of Wonder. And in that manuscript, it speaks about how there would be 7 ages and there would be contention between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. Hello, Alan, and good to see you, Steve. April. Yes, Brick. Um, I apologize. Hopefully, my voice will come back and I'll be able to sound clear. Even sipping water is not helping, but Donna asks, do you know of the war psalms song used in battle? No, I'm not positive of that, Donna. If you could share more information, I'll be glad to, you know, speak about it further. But what I was saying, oh, thank God my voice is coming back. But um, what I was saying is that in the War Scrolls, it speaks about there being 7 ages and how the contention between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent would be back and forth and ongoing. I'll be right back. Okay. I hope that's a little bit better. But again, thank you and welcome everybody. With regard to the war scrolls again, it speaks about a contention between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent and how this would be ongoing for the 7,000 years of this second world age. And so as I said, we're going to get into the origins of the fall and where the war in heaven led to the situation that we find ourselves in. Donna asks, have you found any psalms used in wartime against the sons of darkness? I'm sure there are many. Um, there's, it reminds me actually of a set of books that I have. It's a 3-book set, but it doesn't have verbatim what are uh, there are these scrolls called the Wars of the Lord, and they're mentioned in the Bible, but we don't have a full extent copy of those particular texts. Thank you, Lorraine. Always appreciative. And I am praying for all of you as well. But yes, I do believe it's a war scroll actually that you're talking about and it is called the Book of the Wars of the Lord. And as I said, it's a 3-book set. You can find them on Amazon. Um, but I have a couple of announcements before we start the actual show and get into the topic. And of course, I'm going to try to um, moderate and to pay attention to chat. Um, but when I start reading, of course, I'm not going to be able to do so. And hopefully by then, Lisa will be able to join us and she'll be able to keep up with all of your questions, because I do want to respond to the inquiries that all of you have. And we have so many new listeners now, um, that I know a lot of the things I am covering that we are speaking about may be new to many of you. Thank you, Lorraine and Cheryl. I appreciate all of you. It's good to see you, Brick. Welcome, John. And Brian, thank you, brother. Appreciate that as well. And so I'm going to read tonight, actually, again from the Sumerian text. And it's going to be the story of how the Anunnaki arrived here onto the earth and how I'll break it all down. Uh, Hello, make stupid people famous. Appreciate you always, brother, and love your name. But I'm also going to read some passages from various like apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts that are going to put a slant on this from also the scriptures, the prophetic, the inerrant word of the Most High God. Hello, Tammy. Good to see you, sister. So glad you're feeling well and doing well. We always appreciate you, and it's always, you know, it, don't worry about being late. We're glad that you're here. Yes, Gary Wayne is an awesome researcher, and I do believe he is very gifted with discernment, and he also studies and looks at uh, much of what is available with regard to the ancient texts. All right, let me get into the announcements. Um, First, I wanted to uh, say that, again, we are having our next conference, and the theme is, of course, going to be something connected with the end times. Um, but we are asking, hello, Zarin, good to see you. Thank you always for joining us. We appreciate you very, very much. But April 12th, 13th, it is going to be at the Great Wolf Lodge in Dallas, Texas, which is also family orientated and has even a water park and so much other um, stuff available as attraction. And we're going to have a limited amount of speakers. We're going to invite all those that are our good friends to have tables and to share their works, their books. Individuals, which I've done numerous shows and still ongoing, and people that have published through us. We're going to hope that um, they're going to be able to be there to interact with all of you, to share meal conversation, and also to share their incredible works and knowledge. But we are going to also try to bring on some new voices. And also wanted to tell you that um, I just reached out to the bishop in Bulgaria because we were supposed to do an ongoing series, and we're going to cover the feast days, the Levitical feast days, and how the Thracian church, how they celebrate, acknowledge, and honor traditionally these holy days. And so I explained the situation with um, what was debilitating health and the challenges that I had undergone and had to kind of, the changes I had to implement in my life in order to regain and return to health and well being. And I'm going to do a show soon on that because I know many of you are interested. And I do believe that probably 70% of all of you are affected in ways that you may not be aware and understood. And now I know that sugar is it's one of the biggest poisons, toxins that we are dealing with on a daily basis. And now also, hello, Rob and Dayton, Fritz, thank you for your prayers and blessings. Likewise, the same to all of you. Um, there is a question. Dayton asks, is the Anunnaki same as the Greek gods? Yes, they are all the same. The Hindu gods, which, if you really look at the ancient Hindu mythos or the uh, I don't know if what you would call it, the Vedic cosmogony or whatever, they also celebrate the what are the Elohim at the very top, um, in the same way that Christianity does. They have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit in just different aspect. And a lot of times when you look at, even as I was reading from the Sumerian text, they also honor, they call it the Father of creation, the what is the same as in the Norse mythology. You see Odin, the All Father, but then you also have Thor is like the Son, like the Word of the Lord, Christ. And so you'll see at the tops of these pantheons, what is an aspect of Elohim, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. But then they also have included in their stories and their traditions what are the fallen angels. And so that's where it can get confusing if you don't have discernment. But without a doubt, the truth of Elohim being the only pre existent Godhead and the angels all being created by them and from them is factual. It's without a doubt the truth. And you're going to find this in, it's going to be the underlying truth of all the religions, all the mythologies, all the world traditions. You just have to have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and the mind to understand. And when you come to this truth, you'll be able to see the bigger picture and to explain it to others in the way that we are doing so in this show and in this ministry, which is absolutely important and critical, especially for this time and this age. Because as I said, we see that the Ancient Alien series and the worship of the Anunnaki and the restoration of these ancient religions, they are all coming back with a vengeance. And the scriptures tell us that this will be part of the strong delusion. Daniel says that they shall try to intermingle themselves among the seed of men. And, as I've covered from the Emerald Tablets, the Coleman Bible, so many other stories and places, the indigenous native peoples worldwide that speak about the rattlesnake people and, the Kachina, and then you have in the Egyptian pantheon all these hybrid gods mixed, that have hominid and human bodies, but then the heads of other creatures. And so we're going to get into that, but let me finish with the. Let me make sure that Lisa didn't text me too. I told her to text me when she could join. So, but anyways, the other thing is that I am going to be releasing a collection of the work of Joy's father in NFT form. And her father, if you don't know, is literally a visual photographic poet, is all I can say. His images are profoundly, um, they're artistic and inspirational. And he is the one that did all the images for our calendars over the years. And we're going to release every month 10, what will be a limited edition of these 10 NFTs. And they're going to be $2 each. I mean, nothing. And for those people that are farmers of airdrops, it's going to be on the Zora chain, which the Zora chain, if you don't know, is about to release a cryptocurrency. They're going to release their own token, and it's going to be a valuable drop. In the same way that Uniswap a long time ago, they gave all the users of their platform 400 tokens minimal, and that token ran up in price during the bull run and became worth over tens of thousands of dollars, and this was free money. Which also brings me to another topic, and that is I'm going to be, and after this we'll get into the show, but I'm going to be sending out a, a message to what was the Cryptos for Ding Dongs group, that the crypto group that we had established, and which, because I don't have time, I'm not able to share with all of you the things that I had previously. But in 2019, I sent out a link, and I'm actually going to put that in the chat room at some point here. I'll have to look it up. But it is a link to this token. It's an app that you can download to your phone. You literally just click one button and it will mine crypto for you for 24 hours. And this token, which I know a lot of you actually listen to me because I have 53 in my group. But those of you that listened to me a long time ago, you downloaded this app called Pi. It's Mine Pi, MINEPI.com / and if you want to join my group, my referral is Xander, ZSANDER. Just Again, I'm going to put that in the chat and I'm going to share it with others, but you can mine this crypto for free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do any weird, like jumping through loops. You don't even have to have a crypto wallet. You just download the app, push a button, and you will mine the tokens over 24 hours. And then you can use your own referral to recruit your family and your friends. But anyways, I say this because this token is going to be, it was just released, and my good friend Isaac, he made me aware. One of his friends told him that the token was released and the mainnet is going to be released this June. It was created by a group of Stanford graduates, and right now it's a closed blockchain, and it's going to be released to the public, and so more people are going to be able to access it. But the token is valued right now at $42 each. And it will literally take you 1 or 2 days to mine one of these tokens. And so it's called the Pi network, PI, like the mathematical pi, which is, the represents a symbol for infinity, which the Most High also in a book called the Ever New Tongue, which I share with in my book, The Paradise, on Paradise, the sides of the north and the mount of the congregation. The Most High describes himself as a circle which has no beginning and no end. He is infinite, that he knows the beginning from the end, Alpha, Omega, the Aleph, Tav. And so, and also in this email, and I'm going to include 3 other protocols that have just recently come out. One is called Uprock, another one is called grass.io, and all of these, and another one is called Banter Bubbles. These 3 protocols, you can download the app to your phone, or to like the Grass.io is, it's a protocol that uses your bandwidth to train and to teach different algorithms to other computer blockchain companies, and they are able to charge for that bandwidth and to pay you for it. And you can mine the tokens, and you can average like 2,000 a day, which is equaling about $30 to $40 a day. And these protocols are new. They have only been out for a couple of weeks, so the potential has not been diluted. And if you get on board now, you will be an early supporter. And with early adoption, you get massive benefits in the same way that those of us that joined Pi a long time ago, you never know what and how those protocols will end up. Some of them are busts, but some of them are actual absolute booms. And I want to help all of you to create passive income that you can do without even having to learn a lot with regard to the cryptocurrency platform, and something that you can do with just one push of the button. That's all you got to do. You just activate these apps. I'm currently running all 3 of them on my phone right now, and I run, one on my laptop. And so I'm going to send out these emails. I'll give you all the referrals. I'll even include videos on how you can, and these apps you're going to get from the Google or the Apple store. And so they have been vetted, they have been examined, they have been confirmed to be, safe and they have the approval, of a lot of investment groups, cryptocurrency startup groups, and so um, my hope is that it will bless you, especially those of you that are struggling, that need to create passive income. This is a way, an easy way to do it. But tonight, uh, just while I'm speaking, you can go and download um, the Pi Network, the app. It's at minepi.com/Xander, ZSANDER. And it'll take you 2 minutes. Download the app to your phone, sign up with your email, you get access, you click on the button that says mine, and it will do it for 24 hours. And if you don't believe me with regard to the tokenomics, just go to coinmarketcap.com and search the Pi token, PI token, and you'll see that it had run up to $150 on release, and now it is stabilized and it is settling. It had gone down to $39, and now it's at $42 a token. So this can really bless you. Accumulate your tokens now. When mainnet is released, you'll be able to sell them, and it's pure profit. Easy money. All right. God bless all of you. And so also we're gonna send out the links to the NFT project that we're setting up for Sengho, which is Joy's father. And as I said, he is a rock star visual artist. His photography is amazing. If you've not seen our calendars, they are stunning, and we are honored to be able to work with him. And I want to support him and to help him. And so, what greater way than to release his photos as limited edition NFT collections? There's going to be 10 released every month. And, as I said, they're only going to be $2 each. And they will lock up a transaction on what is the Zora network, which they're going to be releasing their own crypto and airdropping that to all the people that utilize their network. And so this will help you to set up. All you do is add it to your crypto wallet, Zora network, and you can, start using. And it's an NFT network, and it helps artists. If you're an artist yourself, you can do the same. It's very easy and cheap to do, which is amazing because it used to be so difficult and cost so much to set up an NFT collection, but now anybody can do it, especially with this new network. So check it out, and may you be blessed. All right, let's go ahead. Let me check chat room one more time, and then we're going to get into this knowledge, this teaching, and hopefully Lisa will be able to join us so that she can field the chat and also take your questions. Okay, she said in 20 minutes. So she should join us after the break. Hopefully she's listening and she can hear me. All right. Oh, well, there's. All right. Oh, Brick, I hope that you listened to me long ago. You usually do, brother. Okay, awesome. Good for you, brother. Yeah, Brick just did it. It doesn't take long. So, and like I said, the people that listened to me in 2019, they've accumulated and may have several hundred. And can you imagine $40 a token. If you have 100 tokens, it can add up quickly. So do it. All right, let's get into this teaching. You know what? I'm gonna post one link to one of the images that I'm talking about, so you guys can look at it and check it out. This is one of the NFTs that I'm speaking about, and it will give you'll be able to see the other collection. I've only been able to put up 4 so far. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you so very much. And yeah, I hope that you guys would, and ladies would listen to what I'm saying, because these things can benefit you and they're easy. I want to help you create passive income that is easy to do uh, and will be beneficial. I know a lot of you are adverse to crypto, but it's a tool, just like the internet in the 90s. And there right now is the time, because adoption is happening. There are companies, banks now buying up Bitcoin and Ethereum and getting into the cryptocurrency space. And that's what has driven up prices. Um, it was just last November when Bitcoin was 16,000. I was telling everybody, accumulate what you can. And right now it's $61,000 per Bitcoin, which means you could have, tripled your money in whatever you had put in back then. And, the bull run is, in my opinion, only really beginning, because mainstream investors, they want to add crypto to their portfolio. And it's only now became a possibility. All right, so we're going to get into this, and I'm going to be reading from a text called The Gospel of Bartholomew. I want to share with you this story that Bartholomew, which, if you don't know, he was one of the apostles and had asked Christ. He's the one that wrote about the resurrection, about how Christ's descent into hell and how he um, raised Adam and his children, which was a prophecy that was given to Adam a long time ago. Uh, wow, we're almost at first break. So yeah, let me read this, and we should be ready for second portion, and Lisa will be joining us. So it says this. When Jesus appeared again, Bartholomew saith unto him, Lord, show us the adversary of men, that we may behold him, of what fashion he is, and what is his work, and whence he cometh forth, and what power he hath, that he spared not even thee, but caused thee to be hanged upon the tree. Jesus raised him up and said unto him, Bartholomew, wilt thou see the adversary of men? I tell thee that when thou beholdest him, not thou only, but the rest of the apostles and Mary will fall on your faces and become as dead corpses. But they all said unto him, Lord, let us behold him. And he led them down from the Mount of Olives and looked wrathfully upon the angels that keep hell, Tartarus, and beckoned unto Michael to sound the trumpet in the height of the heavens. And Michael sounded, and the earth shook, and Beliar, which means the worthless one, came up, being held by 660 angels and bound with fiery chains, and the length of him was 1,600 cubits, and his breadth 40 cubits, and his face was like a lightning of fire, and his eyes full of darkness. And out of his nostrils came a stinking smoke, and his mouth was as the gulf of a precipice, and the one of his wings was 80 cubits. And straightway, when the apostles saw him, they fell to the earth on their faces and became as dead. But Jesus came near and raised the apostles and gave them a spirit of power, and he saith unto Bartholomew, come near, Bartholomew, and trample with thy feet on his neck, and he will tell thee his work, what it is, and how he deceiveth men. And Jesus stood afar off with the rest of the apostles. And Bartholomew feared and raised his voice and said, blessed be the name of thine immortal kingdom from henceforth, even forever. And when he had spoken, Jesus permitted him, saying, go and tread upon the neck of Beliar. And Bartholomew ran quickly upon him and trode upon his neck, and Beliar trembled. And Bartholomew was afraid and fled and said unto Jesus, Lord, give me a hem of thy garments, that I may have courage to draw near unto him. But Jesus said unto him, thou canst not take an hem of my garments, for these are not my garments, which I wore before I was crucified. And Bartholomew said, Lord, I fear lest, like as he spared not thine angels, he swallow me up also. Jesus saith unto him, were not all things made by my word, and by the will of my Father? The spirits were made subject unto Solomon. Thou, therefore, being commanded by my word, go in my name and ask him what thou wilt. Okay, that's the first portion. And because we're almost at break, I'm going to wait to read the second portion. But let me go ahead and check the chat room. I will invite Lisa to join us on the break. Hello, Shay. Good to see you. And yes, remember that we do our shows on Wednesday and Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. Thursday night, 9 to 11 p.m. And then on Saturday, we have what is called the DRC, the Digital Readers Club, which is a group. It's basically a ecclesia. Even though we know the Sabbath is connected to the phases of the moon, we do try to celebrate and gather and honor the commandment of honoring the Sabbath. And we read and study the Word. And right now we're reading the extra biblical text called the Legends of the Jews. And this text has been absolutely mind blowing. And uh, I think we've been doing it for, I don't know, it's been several weeks. And there's 4 books. So we're going to be on this teaching for a long time. Thank you, Kim. I love you too. A true seeker in a service, blessings as well. It's it's such an awesome honor to have all of you here and joining us and praying for us, supporting us, and us gathering together in this regard. It really is a great honor and a blessing. And so I do hope that you will also join us in Dallas. Joy is putting together the website. We are considering speakers. If you have anybody that you would really like to see, send in your suggestions. Sacred Word Publishing, .com or .net, and you can, give us your suggestions. What is it that you would like to hear? What kind of teachings? What kind of conference? What kind of focus? We are doing this for you, so we want to cater to your desires, your inquiries, your wishes. We want to make it all that you would want to go see, the people you would want to meet, the teachings you would like to learn more about, hear more about. And And more than anything, we want to be able to share fellowship, meal, conversation, hugs, holding hands and praying for each other in the way that we did at the end of the last conference. That was awesome. And in the way that we did at the beginning, where we prayed around the Georgia Guidestones, we prayed for their destruction. And lo and behold, they no longer exist. Be right back, everyone.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
We will not comply with the institution's sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution. We will not comply with the institution's sick illusion. No, it won't be televised. Welcome to the revolution. They're trying to dumb us down. Don't want us to make us down. We gotta get out. Cause it's a revolution.
Revolution.radio, freedomslips.com.
Join me at Revolution Radio, Studio B, at 11 a.m. on Saturday for free association, when we take a look at philosophy, spirituality, psychology, social issues, and geopolitics. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Studio B at freedomslips.com.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
For 1 second that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourselves. Because we know who they are and what they do. This is what they do, and we must fight back. You can torture us and bomb us. Fire is catching. And if we burn, you burn with us.
Are you awake yet? I hope. We've tried for years and years to use passive resistance and loud voices to make a change. The time is over. Your governments around the world have no other goal than to decimate your entire existence.
at the hands of the bankers and the elites. The war is coming, and it's your choice to decide if you want to be a warrior or a victim. Denial is not a choice anymore. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the planet. Not giving up. Revolution Radio. All right. Thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, for second hour. It's as I said, it's a great honor to be here with all of you. Okay, no problem at all, Lisa, if you're listening. It's not your fault, sister. I know you want to be here with us, but we appreciate you, and I really am grateful to you for the help that you've given to us and the support and doing the shows. It really helps me with my voice, as you see. When I talk too much, I end up losing it, and so I'm definitely trying to limit all that I say and all that I do with regard to, just sharing the truth, because I don't want to not be able to do these shows. So let me just check the chat again really quickly. Yes, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Donna, check it out. The War Scroll, the War of the Sons of Light with the Sons of Darkness. Hello, Phil. Good to see you, brother. Files and X. Hello and welcome. Non-typical. Thank you for joining. We, appreciate all of you again. All right, I'm going to get back to the text. I was reading from the Gospel of Bartholomew, and this one is really, really important. This portion, because it's going to talk about how it was that Christ, the Son, the Word, the Logos, the Memra of the Lord, how it was that he created the angels, and even Satan, Samael, the angel of death, which he speaks about in telling his story about how he rebelled against the Most High, how he led the insurgency, and how he was punished and they were cast out, kicked out of the heavens long ago. So, this is the second portion. It says this. And then after this, I'm going to get into the story from the Sumerian text so that you can see that side of it too. But I want to start with this truth in order to set the foundation for what we're going to go into and get into further. It says, and Bartholomew made the sign of the cross and prayed unto Jesus and went behind him. And Jesus said to him, draw near. And as Bartholomew drew near, fire was kindled on every side, so that his garments appeared fiery. And also know that I know the true name of Jesus is Yahushua, which means Yah salvation. But, I want to read from the text as it is and share it as it is. But of course, we know that, his true name is in the Hebrew. And the Aramaic Yeshua is also, what a lot of people use as well. All right, continuing. Jesus saith to Bartholomew, as I said unto thee, tread upon his neck, and ask him what is his power. And Bartholomew went and trode upon his neck and pressed down his face into the earth as far as his ears. And Bartholomew saith unto him, Tell me who thou art, and what is thy name? And he said to him, Lighten me a little, and I will tell thee who I am, and how I came hither, and what my work is, and what my power is. And he lightened him, and saith to him, Say all that thou hast done, and all that thou doest. And Beliar answered and said, If thou wilt know my name, at the first I was called Satan Niel, which is interpreted a messenger of God. But when I rejected the image of God, my name was called Satanas, that is, an angel that keepeth hell, or Tartarus. And again Bartholomew saith unto him, Reveal unto me all things, and hide nothing from me. And he said unto him, I swear unto thee, by the power of the glory of God, that even if I would hide aught, I cannot. For he is near that would convict me. For if I were able, I would have destroyed you like one of them that were before you. For indeed, now this is important, and remember, this is Sataniel speaking, which means the adversary of El. He's the arch nemesis of man and God. So Bartholomew, who's one of the apostles, is speaking directly to Satan, asking him about his fall, his power, who he was, his story. And because Yahushua is right there with him, he feels and is strengthened to actually do that. So it says, For indeed I was formed, the first angel. For when God made the heavens, he took a handful of fire and formed me first, Michael second. For he had his son before the heavens and the earth, and we, the angels, were formed. For when he took thought to create all things, his son spake a word, so that we also were created by the will of the Son and the consent of the Father. He formed, I say, first me, next Michael, the chief captain of the hosts that are above, Gabriel third, Uriel fourth, Raphael fifth, Nathanael sixth, and other angels of whom I cannot tell the names. This is the Jerusalem manuscript, the Gospel of Bartholomew. So let's look at that again, just that one portion, because this is absolutely important. And for those that think, that Satan is a god, or that the fallen angels are the creators of man, this is the truth of the gospel. This is the truth of the scripture, as the angel of death, Samael, Satan, Beliar, tells you himself as he's speaking it to Bartholomew, the apostle. So again, let's just read this one sentence. For indeed I was formed the first angel, for when God made the heavens, he took a handful of fire and formed me first, Michael second, For he had his son before the heavens and the earth. See, Christ pre-existed before the heavens and the earth. And he was part of Elohim. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. That's what they're referencing. And so, he had his son before the heavens and the earth, and we were formed for when he took thought to create all things. His son spake a word. Christ is the word, the Logos. He spoke the creation into being. He manifest for Elohim. Because it says it was by the word and through wisdom, the Holy Spirit. So the Father, through the Son and the Mother, created all things. So that we also were created by the will of the Son and the consent of the Father. Okay. Just a little bit more. For they are the rod bearers, the light lictors of God, and they smite me with their rods and pursue me 7 times in the night and 7 times in the day, and leave me not at all, and break in pieces all my power. These are the angels of vengeance which stand before the throne of God. These are the angels that were first formed, and after them were formed all the angels. In the first heaven are 100 myriads, and in the second 100 myriads, and in the third 100 myriads, and in the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, 100 myriads of angels. And in the seventh is the first firmament, which, interesting, this text says, of the firmament, a flat surface, wherein are the powers which work upon men. Is that not interesting? Do you remember Revelation 4 and where John is speaking about? He sees a vision of the throne of God and him seated on this throne. And his throne is literally established upon a sea of glass like unto crystal. That is the top of the firmament, the vaulted dome of the earth. Continuing, Bartholomew saith unto him, Flow, chastisest thou the souls of men? Beliar saith unto him, Wilt thou that I declare unto thee the punishment of the hypocrites, of the backbiters, of the jesters, of the idolaters, and the covetous, and the adulterers, and the wizards, and the diviners, and of them that believe in us, and of all whom I look upon, I deceive. So, those of you that, if you're listening to the show and you believe that the Anunnakis are our creators and our gods, and you're involved in the occult, if you're a wizard or a diviner, an enchanter, an adulterer, a jester, an idolater, covetous, a backbiter, hypocrite, you are all categorized under those that follow and are deceived by Beliar, the worthless one, Satanael, the adversary of God, El. You're on the wrong side. So read the Bible. You'll see very first Genesis 1, chapter 1. In the beginning, Elohim, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, as Satan here tells us that the Word created them. And so, who is the true God? Yeah, you got it right. It is Elohim. All right, just a little bit more. But they that do these things, and they that consent unto them or follow them, do perish with me. Dost thou then do these things by thyself alone? And Satan said, if I were able to go forth by myself, I would have destroyed the whole world in 3 days. But neither I nor any of the 600 that go forth, for we have other swift ministers whom we command, and we furnish them with an hook of many points and send them forth to hunt, and they catch for us the souls of men, enticing them with the sweetness of diverse baits. That is, by drunkenness and laughter, by backbiting, hypocrisy, pleasure, fornication, and the rest of the trifles that come out of their treasures. So you see, I mean, is this not the same MO, the modus operandi that Satan uses in this day and age to deceive, you know, those of the music industry, the so-called stars? Isn't that funny how they call them stars? You know, the celebrity elite stars. Yeah. What does that tell you? They're connected to the fallen hosts, the angels, the pre-existent angels that had been before and that were created even before the foundations of the world. Make stupid people famous asks, didn't he hang out with Jesus in the desert for 40 days? Yes. He tried to tempt him. And remember, they went to an exceedingly high mountain. And for those that don't know, this exceedingly high mountain is the magnetic North Pole. It is what is called in the ancient scriptures. Oh, good to see you, Blues Girl. Uh, been a long time. Listener and supporter, we really appreciate you, sister. Okay, so he took them, or, Christ, to this exceedingly high mountain where all the kingdoms of the world were visible. And that was what is called Mount Zion, Mount Meru, Mount Olympus, the Mount of the Congregation. In the sides of the north, the sides of the north are the walls, the outer perimeter of the firmament as it rises and where it meets in apex. The pinnacle of the firmament is the top of the vaulted dome of the earth, a sea of glass like unto crystal. Also, those of you that can, please do like and subscribe. We appreciate all of you. Good to see you, Gary. Welcome. All right. Let me get back to this story, and this is from the Sumerian mythos. It will tell about how the first Anunnaki arrived here, according to their tradition. And as I said in the last show, according to the Sumerian story, an individual named Alalu, he was fighting for kingship on Nibiru. And when he lost, he ran for his life. And he was going to be exiled anyways, but he ran, and in his journey, he tells the story of how he was able to use and to pilot this spacecraft and to come through the hammered bracelet. And according to the account, he utilized nuclear weapons to blast an opening so he can get through without being destroyed. Now, of course, I know that, the idea that we live in a solar system is laughable. It's a joke because the earth is first fixed, stationary, and non-moving according to scripture. And the earth is not a planet. It's not spherical in shape. There is no curvature. And you can tell by the dynamics of water everywhere. Water has to be contained within a basin. It cannot adhere to a ball. And when you pour it onto a ball, it will run off. It will drip. It has to be contained on all sides, like a lake, like a pond, like an ocean. And it will settle in a horizontal level, and it will be flat from one end to the other. No curvature, no deviation, no shift. If the landscape rises, those mountains, they will just contain the water. All right, so anyways, let me go ahead and read this story. Ea ingenuously equips the celestial boat for the journey. Ea is the name that Enki had before. And remember, Enki is Poseidon, Ptah in the Egyptian, or Neptune in the Roman mythology. And his brother Enlil is who we know as Zeus. All right, let us continue. The spaceship piloted by Anzu carries 50 heroes. This is after Alalu already made it to the Earth. And now Ea with 50 other Anunnaki, they're coming to the Earth in order to set up what is called Eridu. Eridu meaning home in the faraway. And it was the first colony that was established here on the Earth in a place called the Abzu, which is in the southern part of Africa. Overcoming perils, the Nibirians thrill by Earth's sight. Guided by Alalu, they splashed down and wade ashore. Eridu, home away from home, is established in 7 days. Extraction of gold from the waters begins. Through the quantity is minuscule, Nibiru demands delivery. Abgal, a pilot, chooses Olalu's spaceship for the trip. Forbidden nuclear weapons are discovered in the spaceship. Ea and Abgal remove the weapons of terror and hide them. I'll be right back. All right. Appreciate all of you. Just had to take a sip of water. The fate of Nibiru is in my hands. To my conditions you must give heed. This is from the third tablet of the Lost Book of Enki. Those were the words of Olalu from dark-hued earth. To Nibiru they were by the speaker beamed. When the words of Olalu to Anu the king were conveyed, Anu astounded was. Remember, Anu is the king on Nibiru. Astounded were the counselors, amazed were the sages. Olalu is not dead, they each other asked. Could indeed he on another world be living? They, with disbelief, were saying, was he not on Nibiru hiding in the chariot to a place of concealment gone? The words from Nibiru did not come from beyond the hammered bracelet were they spoken. This was their finding. This to Anu the king they reported. Stunned was Anu the happening he pondered. Let words of acknowledgement to Olalu be sent. To the assembled, he was saying. At the place of the celestial chariots, the command was given to Olalu, words were spoken. Anu the king to you his greetings sends. Of your well-being to learn he is pleased. For your departing from Nibiru there was no reason. Enmity is not in Anu's heart. If gold for salvation you have indeed discovered, let Nibiru be saved. The words of Anu, Olalu's chariots, did reach. Olalu then quickly answered, if your savior I am to be, your lives to save, convene the princes to assembly. My ancestry declares supreme. Let the commanders make me their leader. Bow to my command. Let the council pronounce me king on the throne Anu to replace. When the words of Olalu on Nibiru were heard, great was the consternation. How could Anu be deposed? The counselors asked each other. What if Olalu, mischief not truth, is telling? Where is his asylum? Did gold indeed he find? They summoned the sages, the wise and learned counseling they asked. The oldest of them spoke. I was Olalu's master, he was saying. He had hearkened to teachings of the beginning of the celestial battle he was learning, of the watery monster Tiamat and her golden veins. Tiamat is the name of the old earth before it was destroyed, according to their story. What they are referencing as the celestial battle is their creation account called the Enuma Elish. And in this story, the Enuma Elish, it describes how their planet was caught by the outside gravitation of the planets Uranus and Neptune, and that they call them different names, and I'll interpret this as we go forward. But Tiamat is the name of the planet that existed before the Earth. And they said that one of their moons, which is called the west wind, that this moon hit the earth and split it in half. And when that happened, the golden veins that were within her were seen, and say they knew that the earth had gold. But the hammered bracelet, which is the asteroid belt, it prevented them from being able to access. All right, continuing. If indeed beyond the hammered bracelet he had journeyed, on Earth, the seventh planet, is his asylum. And it's also, they count from the outside in. So, whereas according to the scientists, the Earth is the third planet from the sun, which is a lie. They count from the outside in, and the Earth is the seventh planet, the planet that is right past the hammered bracelet. And then they count, Mars and Mercury, Venus, those planets, which are part of the inner planets. Continuing. In the assembly, a prince spoke up, a son of Anu he was, of the womb of Antu. Anu's spouse, he was the issue. Enlil was his name, Lord of the command it meant. Words of caution he was saying. Of conditions Alalu cannot speak. Calamities were his handiwork. By single combat in wrestling, he the throne forfeited. If Tiamat's gold he indeed had found, proof of that is needed. Is it for protecting our atmosphere sufficient? How through the hammered bracelet to Nibiru can it be brought? Thus did Enlil, the son of Anu, speak. Others many questions also asked. Much proof was greatly needed, many answers are required. All agreed. The words of the assembly to Alalu were conveyed. A response demanded. Alalu the words merit pondered. To transmit his secrets he agreed. Of his journey and its perils in truth, he an account gave. Of the tester its crystal innards he removed. From the sampler its crystal heart he took out. Into the speaker he the crystals inserted, all the findings to transmit. Now that proof has been delivered, declare me king. Bow to my command, he sternly demanded. The sages were aghast. With weapons of terror, these are nuclear weapons, according to the story. Alalu on Nibiru more havoc caused. With weapons of terror, a path through the bracelet he blasted. Once in its circuit, Nibiru, that region passes, calamities Alalu is amassing. In the council there was much consternation. The kingship to alter was indeed a grave matter. Anu, not by ancestry alone, was king. By fair wrestling the throne he attained. For those that don't know, according to the story on Nibiru, whenever there is contention for the throne, they allow those to have hand-to-hand combat. And this is what is being spoken about here. I'll check the chat room in just a few minutes. In the assembly of the princes, a son of Anu stood up to speak. He was wise in all matters. Among the sages renowned he was. Of the secrets of the waters, he was master. Ea, Ea. He whose home is water, he was called. See, that's why Ea, he whose name home is water, he is Poseidon. For those that don't know. Of Anu, he was the firstborn. To Damkina, Alalu's daughter, he was espoused. My father by birth is Anu the king, Ea was saying. Alalu by marriage, my father is. To bring the two clans into unison was my espousal intention. Let me be the one in this conflict unity to bring. Let me, Anu's emissary, to Alalu be. Let me be the one Alalu's discoveries to uphold. Let me in a chariot to earth journey, a path through the blaze with water, not fire I shall fashion. On earth, from the waters, let me the precious gold obtain, and to Nibiru back it will be sent. Let Alalu be king on earth, a verdict of the sages awaiting. If Nibiru it will save, let there be a second wrestling. Who shall Nibiru rule, let it determine. The princes, the counselors, the sages, the commanders heard Ea's words with wonder. Full of wisdom they were. For conflict they solution found. Let it so be, Anu announced. Let Ea journey, let the gold be tested. Alalu a second time. I shall then wrestle, and let the winner on Nibiru be king. The words of decision to Alalu were conveyed. He pondered them and agreed. Let Ea, my son, by marriage to earth come. Let gold from the waters be obtained. Let it for salvation on earth be tested. Let a second wrestling kinship by me or Anu settle. So be it, and in the assembly decreed. Enlil rose in objection the king's word. Unalterable was. Ea to the place of the chariots went. Commanders and sages he consulted. The mission's dangers he contemplated. How to extract and bring the gold he considered. Alalu's transmission he carefully studied. Alalu for more testing the result he requested. A tablet of destinies for the mission he was fashioning. If water be the force, where could it be replenished? Where on the chariot will it be stored? How to force will it be converted? A full circuit of Nibiru did pass in contemplation. A shar of Nibiru in preparations passed. The largest celestial chariot for the mission has been fitted. Its circuit's destiny has been calculated. A tablet of destiny has been firmly fixed. 50 heroes will for the mission be required to journey to earth the goal to obtain. The journey Anu his approval gave. The stargazers for the journey the right time to begin then selected. All right, we're going to stop right there for a minute. I'm going to explain the story because I know it reads very weird. And if you're not familiar with the Sumerian text as I am, then it may be difficult to understand. So, as I said, Alalu, who was, and its bloodline, the privilege of bloodline is what rules on Nibiru, and even how they establish kingship here on the earth. Whether they're from Nibiru, whether they're from, and they were exiled from the top of the vaulted dome, however they ended up being here, they are the fallen angels. They are those that were exiled here to the earth long ago. The second book of Enoch says that they were cast down on the second day after the war in heaven. But the story that they tell is that Alalu came here to the earth and they needed the gold in order to create to fill the hole that was in their atmosphere that was causing them the ecological disaster, the so-called global warming. And so they had to arrive here to get the gold. But what is interesting is that when you look at the ancient Cyclopean architecture that you find all over the world, and I just gave you a video in the last show on this topic about how a stone was found in China that was 13 times the size of the trilithium stone in Baalbek. 13 times bigger. That stone is supposed to be like 200 tons at Baalbek. You know, and we can't lift it or create it or maneuver it now. We certainly can't and would not have created this other stone. I'm also going to tell you about another story. Recently, there was an individual that was looking at the Grand Canyon using the Google Earth. And he found a section of the Grand Canyon that was literally made of cubes of huge stone blocks. And these stones were somehow fitted together. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up for yourself. And I'll try to find the video that I watched about this. It's absolutely mind-blowing, but it shows that in ancient times, they had greater technology and capacity than we have. And they were able to do things that we cannot replicate. And Christ said, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the second coming of the Son of Man. I believe that is emphasizing that as in the days of Noah, this was when the Nephilim had descended during the time of Yared. They took wives of all which they chose. They created a race of giants. And, we know that according to the story, Baalbek was created by giants. Pumapunku, other places in, the megalithic structures, they were all said to be created by giants. That's the ancient oral tradition. So look it up for yourself. The evidence is all over the world. And if you want to get the truth, the real truth, read the book of Enoch. Because it will tell you. And the ancient stories, the Apocrypha, what I read from the Gospel of Bartholomew earlier. So many manuscripts, like, my, I forget what number of book it is, but The Great Contest 1, The War in Heaven, like my 12th or 13th book, something like that. It tells the story of the fall of the angels. And I share with you literally hundreds of sources, various texts most people have never heard about, that when put together gives you the real story. The Revelation 12 story of Michael and his angels fighting against the devil and his angels, and how 1/3 of the angels, the stars, the celebrities, those that fell with them, how they ended up being here on the earth, how they were banished from the heavens, how they were exiled, and how they rule here on the earth, and also how they are trying to recreate what they had seen in the heavens. All the pyramids, all the temples, the ziggurats, those are what they had seen of New Jerusalem. They are recreating what they saw in the heavens here on the earth. Brian says Kincaid's Cave in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, it's interesting that when you look up that area, you see all these Egyptian names, the Temple of Isis, different things like that. And when you look at those ancient mountains, those ancient structures, they look like underneath the facade of the dirt and the mountains, like there are ancient cities in those areas, in those places. And so maybe truly there is a temple of Isis there. Certainly, Kincaid, the explorer, reported that he had discovered huge tunnel complexes that looked like they were made by giants within the interior of the Grand Canyon. And so, there's absolute truth to these stories. And I told you about, and you should look up if you've not heard of, the story that was put forth by Dr. Alma True Ott when in Utah they had a gathering. I forget what it was called, but he told the story of how it was that Joseph had discovered when he was put into that pit by his brothers a key, a crystalline key. And he would hold on to this key. And later, when he was appointed second in command by Pharaoh, he was able to access the library under the left paw of the Sphinx. That there was a hollow space there, a library of ancient wisdom that had been placed there in ancient times to preserve. Just like in Ecuador, I believe, the ancient caves that held the metal books, an entire library of metal books. Same thing as in Romania. I did a series with Peter Moon on the Hall of Giants, a three-part series. You can find it on YouTube. The Hall of Giants, which is a holographic projection, has a table and two chairs that are fitted for giants. And in this Hall of Records, when you enter it, it will bring up this holographic screen and it shows you the history of the earth, going back to ancient times. But anyways, this pyramid in Romania is connected to the pyramid in Egypt. And the pyramid in Egypt is connected by tunnel system to the Grand Canyon and to that culture and civilization. And literally, he tells the story of how Joseph came up there in the Grand Canyon and how he wrote on the wall where he came up in these ancient tunnel systems the story of how he, Joseph, the son of Jacob and of the 12 tribes, how he became, second in command and how he discovered the key and the tunnel system and how he arrived here by following that tunnel system. We also have the story of the Hopi Indians. They tell of the Ant people, those people that led them from South America. Their ancestors were from South America, and they came here to Utah and to, the area around the Grand Canyon through the tunnel system as well. There's also another story about Montezuma, who also running from the Spanish conquistadors. He and his warriors brought a massive collection of gold and artifacts here to America. And this was recently discovered. There's an explorer, I forget his name, but he tells the story. And we have, even here in Georgia, we have a connection to what is Teotihuacan, the city. There is a structure, a megalithic structure that was made in ancient times by Montezuma and his warriors, and it is exactly in the shape and aspect of a certain portion of Tiahuanaco. John asked, so do you think the snake bite was in preparation for the fallen ones to come again and mate with humans, or to eat the ones they don't mate with? What is, he says, I heard some crazy conspiracy about that. No, in my opinion, the snake bite is about what they had listed on the Georgia Guidestones, the 10 Commandments of the elite, with the number one being to decrease the population down to a manageable size of what they declare to be 500 million. With supposedly 7 billion people here, that's quite a slaughter. That's quite a lot of people. So how did they achieve that? Read the report from Iron Mountain. Because in that report, they talk about the possibilities of world peace. And they said that they're not going to allow it because peace would make and allow the population to get out of control. And they talk about scarcity, which that is a lie as well. The earth is fully able to feed all the numbers of people that are here and all the people that would ever be born. If everybody had a garden, grew their own food, used solar panels, there would be no need to slave and be a part of the system in the way that we are controlled right now. But there will be a day. Freedom is coming, my friends. And that freedom is coming with the return of the Messiah, the second advent. And so learn the truth of these things that we're talking about. This will be an ongoing series. We'll do more shows on this. I'm going to read more from the Sumerian text, but I'm also going to read from other sources to bring you the underlying truth which unites all these things so that you can have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, and a mind to understand. We do not want you to be deceived. Do not accept the ancient aliens as our creators or our gods or any god, because they are not. The only gods are Elohim, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. They are nothing more than angels that are fallen and acting as if they are gods. Remember, Satan said, I will exalt my throne above the stars and the clouds of God, above the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. I will be like the Most High. And the Most High said, no, you won't. I will cast you down to the sides of the pit. And it is from Sheol in the interior of the earth that he and Legion rule from. All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Yes, it is the story of Prometheus. As the elite, they celebrate Prometheus and Lucifer as the light bearer. God bless all. Good night. I appreciate all of you. And yes, the book of the Necronomicon, it is a ritual of the Anunnaki in that text. God bless all. Good night. Well,
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
Ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
and I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
This is Thomas, aka a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the dates from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
The future is uncertain. I know this. Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain. As free men, it is our right to live unencumbered and in peace. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And as the chains grow tighter, our ability to slip those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Inaction is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more. This is Nighthawk, and I say, for myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is slipping away.
Thank you everybody for joining us for this video and this broadcast. We appreciate all of you and thank you for your patronage. Please do like and subscribe and share with your friends. God bless all of you in your seeking.